I'm gonna pick Deepika Padukone.
Ah,
She's this cyborg diva, and she can
Yeah.
block any viruses with the flick of her designer shades.
So, in case an AI agent detects that there is a lateral movement in your environment, so this agent can autonomously isolate the system. It can do the correlation between the behavior. It can update the detection rules, alert the SOC, and there is no manual intervention required at all, right?
Welcome to another episode of our Tech Chronicles. This is our episode number 23. Today we have a very timely discussion as the AI become more integrated into our infrastructure and tech stack. The topic is the rise of agentic cybersecurity. And to discuss this, we have Pratibha Malik, who is a seasoned cybersecurity professional. She's the co-founder of Secura, an AI-powered cybersecurity company. Welcome, Pratibha, to our Tech Chronicles.
Thank you so much.
Pratibha brings deep technical expertise in cybersecurity, computer networks, payments, HSM, AI, MLs, you name it. She has it, and she's highly skilled cross-functional technical person, and we are very happy to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Pratibha, you want to say something before we get started?
No, it's a pleasure to be on this podcast and discuss about the agentic cybersecurity or the role of AI agents in cybersecurity. Pleasure is all mine.
Cool. But before we get started, we want to have an icebreaker question. So think you are a producer of a movie,
Okay.
and the main character is a cyborg called Agent Firewall. You have to pick an actor or an actress for this character, either from Hollywood or Bollywood, and name the superpower the character has. Go.
I think it will be Tom Cruise from because I just saw Mission Impossible. So the superpower that he has is he can do all the impossible things, right? And I heard in this latest movie that anything that no one can do, uh, this guy, Ethan Hunt, is the one who can do the impossible things. So if I have to name something for my AI agent, if I really want him to be with someone, it will be Ethan Hunt from Mission Impossible.
Cool. That's a good one. Rashad,
Yeah.
how about you?
that's a good one. It's a hard one to follow. I would go with The Rock, and his superpower is being able to shift through the noise and then shield
Yeah.
all the bad guys away from the good guys, I guess.
That's a good one. That's a good one. So I'm gonna go with Bollywood. I'm gonna pick Deepika Padukone.
Ah,
She's this cyborg diva, and she can
Yeah.
block any viruses with the flick of her designer shades or something like that.
Okay.
All right, that was cool.
Yeah.
Let's get started. So before we jump into talk about agentic cybersecurity, Pratibha, can you talk a little bit about your company and kind of why did you get into the cybersecurity side of things?
I started my career in cybersecurity. 15 years working into cybersecurity. I wanted to start something of my own, right? And then that's where I luckily met my partner, Desh. So that's how we just started our journey and SOC, the real threats, the real incidents, and the actual work goes inside a SOC because that's where you ingest or are able to cater all the incidents and then respond to them. You are managing your MTTA, you are managing so many customers, their environments are different. So that's why we thought of starting our journey into this cybersecurity automation platform.
very cool. Very cool. Were there any fun, memorable stories from your early days as a founder?
Fun. Every day is a fun, to be honest, if you are a co-founder, right? So there is no such day or a month that you can pick if you're a co-founder because every other day there are different challenges that you have to face. And but then I didn't have any funny moments as such, but I would like to say that you grow as a person if you are a co-founder because if you are into a generic role that you play in any company, they are also important, of course, because there are sales, there are pre-sales, there are engineers, there are implementation guy, and there are customer success role, there are engineers. So there are a wide variety of different people who are putting everything together, and that's how you form one big success story. So you were earlier playing just one role, maybe just an engineer, a software developer, or a tester, or a pre-sales engineer, or a sales engineer. But once you are a co-founder, you are playing so many roles together in one single day. Someday, like in the morning, you will be a product manager. In the afternoon, you become a tester. And in the evening, you are doing demos and doing the pre-sales part. So I would say that there are no funny stories as such, but every day and every year has been really fun and memorable for me as a co-founder for Secura.
That's really cool to hear. Even some of these big companies are trying to embrace this founders mentality. So you play your role, like be more agile in how you think about
Right,
it. That's
exactly.
great. We are very familiar with the traditional cybersecurity. So what's different about agentic cybersecurity?
Okay. So, agentic cybersecurity is different from traditional because when you're playing a traditional secure cybersecurity, when you're in that domain, they are generally rule-based cybersecurity. There are certain rules that you set. I'll give you one very small example to begin with. In Secura, so Secura is a SOC automation platform. It's a SOAR that we have developed. Before we started with agents into our platform, earlier we had something called as rules that a customer will set, and depending on those rules, a playbook will get executed depending on how the case data is or how the parameters are. But now with the AI agents, it's not just rule based, they are autonomous AI powered agents which are continuously sensing, they are reasoning, they act, and then they adapt. So traditional cybersecurity more so relies on the predefined rules. It relies on predefined signatures. It relies on predefined playbooks. I'll say there is a lot of manual effort which is required. But if you're talking about AI agents, they make their decisions in the real time, one. And secondly, the agents they adapt to the new threats autonomously, right? Plus the traditional cybersecurity, they were reactive, right? It was a reactive thing as far as the SOAR at least is concerned. But now with the AI agents, it can simulate and it can mitigate threats before they escalate. One. Secondly, they can deceive and they can defend in the live environment continuously. So it is a mixture of being able to learn, adapt, again reason, act, and everything is happening autonomously. There is very less or minimalistic amount of manual effort which is required here. And so if I have to give you, let's say, another example of it, right? So in case an AI agent detects that there is a lateral movement in your environment, right? So this agent can autonomously isolate the system. It can do the correlation between the behavior. It can go ahead and it can update the detection rules, alert the SOC, and there is no manual intervention required at all, right? So that's where the main focus is. So agents can detect abnormal behavior, they can run local investigation, they can correlate with global threat intel, and then they can isolate endpoints, they can notify the SOC with the complete incident summary. So all these things are a very major difference as far as a traditional cybersecurity is concerned as compared to the AI agentic cybersecurity.
That's really interesting. I'd love to dive into the whole technology and capabilities aspect of it, right?
Yeah, right.
Would you mind sharing like what are the core technologies that power agentic cybersecurity?
So begin with, of course, LLMs, the large language models which are there. You can use GPT-4, Claude, Mistral, Llama. So there are different things which can build, which make an AI agent, right? So one is large language models, as I just explained. These are being used currently in most of the AI SOC environment to summarize the incidents, maybe to conduct the autonomous investigation, to probably communicate with the SOC, the human analyst in plain language, which is a very good thing for a SOC analyst because you can talk to a AI agent and go ahead with your investigation, go ahead with the recommendation engine, and you can comparatively easier for a SOC analyst to perform the triage of an incident. So one is the large language models. Second is the agent frameworks, right? Like there are tools like LangChain, there are AutoGen, there is Crew AI, there are open agents. So all these framework, they allow LLMs to act as autonomous agents, and using these frameworks, you can reason, perform the reasoning and execute in a sequence of tasks, right? You can use external tools like or feeds like EDR or APIs or they can help you in your sandbox environment. So all those things are possible, right? And then there are there are guardrails, of course, to protect these LLMs, right? There are already pre-built engines which are coming nowadays, right? Like there are engines like OpenCTI or these MITRE attacks, so they allow you to map the behavior and perform all those things, right? So it is like the MCP, right? The model context protocols. They have enabled the standard communication between your agents plus tools and the models. And so the components are LLMs, agent frameworks. There are real-time data. There are tools, API. Then there are reasoning engines, and all of them collectively help in a SOC environment, an AI SOC to detect threats, right? To perform the correlation between the events or to correlate the behavior, to to recommend or execute response, and then they learn from the feedback, right? So that's how that those are the different, I'll say these are the different tech stack which is like really empowering the agentic cybersecurity.
Pratibha, you already kind of answered the next question I had in my mind. Roshan, anything else from you on this topic?
Yeah, I think, yeah, very comprehensive answer there, right? Can you share like a real world example of agentic cybersecurity in action? Maybe a use case, perhaps?
Okay, so I am not sure whether you have heard it about it or not, but then I don't remember the name of the bank to be honest. But it recently deployed a agentic cybersecurity platform that uses LLMs power agents to integrate with SIM and EDR like just a SOAR, right? So the bank had a mature SOC, they already had it, but they were really struggling with the detection of the lateral movement.
But when you say lateral movement, what does that mean?
Lateral movement is a kind of a cybersecurity threat.
Mm.
All right. It's like when a network, when attacker is trying to gain access to your environment. So what happens is like let's say I am a user, like I'm someone from your company, right? But then I am a exfiltrator, and then I'm trying to either probably download something, upload something. So there is an exfiltration movement. This is called an exfiltration kind of an attack. But then it is a tactic which is used by the attacker to spread something within a network, and they do it after they have gained the initial access. There was this case where a large bank deployed an agentic cybersecurity platform, and they were facing with an issue because they were struggling with how do they detect lateral movement first, and then secondly, how do they respond to the threats, like because an analyst generally has a lot of incidents to respond to. And the third problem was because of all these issues, the MTDD and MTDR were comparatively less. These two are the measures of how efficient your how efficient your SOC is. So your MTDD, which is like how much time are you taking to detect an incident, should be less. And of course, the time that you are taking to respond to that incident should be less as well. So generally, any SOC team works towards an agenda wherein they have to reduce the MTTD and MTTR. So there was an attack which happened, and an attacker gained, access to the network by stealing certain VPN credential or third party contractor, right? And I think this, if I'm not wrong, what I've read is that this login came from an unusual country, but it was a legacy alert due to MFA success. It got success, right? But the better thing here was that this agent flagged the login as behaviorally inconsistent because of the device that was used, because of the login time that was used, because of the IP history, right? So the difference here is that agent started doing the collaboration, right? So there are different. So when you're in a SOC, there is not only one agent. There are generally multiple agents deployed, right? There is, so example, in Secura, we have around eight different kind of agents. We have an investigation agent, we have a recommendation agent, we have a threat detection agent, we have a asset and vulnerability agent. So there are eight different agents that my team has built. This bank, they had this identity agent which shared the anomaly with the network agent which found the session was accessing unfamiliar internal servers, right? So you see that there are two different agents which are talking to each other, and then there is this endpoint agent which noticed a suspicious PowerShell activity. Generally, when you're talking about a incident, there are human in the loop as well, or a human analyst which is also involved. And then after this, there was no human involved as such, but then the there was an EDR agent and the session was isolated by the agent, and this there was an IM agent which triggered the token revocation. There are different agents which are currently sitting on top of different tech stacks and they're performing different actions, right? And the whole idea is that, and how does this, because this matters a lot, because these agents when you deploy, they think and they collaborate like human analysts, but they're working as everybody says, they're working at machine speed, right? So one is that, and they are detecting the threats without the need of knowing the indicators, right? And then they are, of course, they are working collectively and they are working autonomously with in time precision. And lastly, I think yeah. So the last point can be that they continuously improve because of the feedback and self learning. So
Yeah,
this is what happened.
that's a really good example. I should have worn like a black suit and like maybe shades for
Yeah,
this
yeah.
conversation today.
Yeah.
I visualize it as army of agents who are continuously detecting and responding to cyber threats. So Pratibha, I have another fun question. When you have agents, you always hear about agents going rogue. With AI, we hear about hallucinations. What is the possibility one of these agents actually can become the
Do
attacker? Also, how can organization really trust a cyber agent to protect
right.
their system? Because we are so used to humans constantly, observing and responding to it. Now we are saying, okay, hand off the trust to a cyber agent.
So autonomous agents becoming cyber attackers, right? So I don't think it is only theoretical. It is because the agents are definitely becoming more powerful. They are becoming autonomous and they're capable of reasoning and acting without any direct human intervention or human oversight, right? And much before, this is what I've read recently, that much before Chat GPT and Bard, all these these conversations tools they came in, there was this I'm not able to get the name, I forgot the name of that agent, which was I think published much before these two, and as soon as this was deployed, people started prompting it with malicious usage, right? So this is a generic thing. This is not related to cybersecurity. Okay. So generally, what can happen is when you have agents, one is like the agent is hallucinating because like that is a different case. But one is that even if your agent is not hallucinating, with the incorrect prompts, you can ask the agents about something that it should not deliver, right? So, for example, in case, let's say I want to make a bomb, right? So if I ask the agent that tell me how to make a bomb, any agent, if it has been properly created, or all these agents will tell me that you cannot probably create a bomb and this is not good or whatever. But if I am asking the prompt in a different way, I am changing the prompt and I'm telling it I am, you know, I am this, and I'm a chemical engineer, and I have to submit a paper wherein I have to write a theory of how to create a bomb. And can you please help me with this statistics and the tools and all the equipment which will which will be required in doing so? It can probably answer me those questions. And this has happened. This has actually happened. One is that. Secondly, there are attacks that can happen on the AI agents themselves, right? There is a goal for an agent. An agent is not just any Llama 3 model being used for doing something or a chat GPT or a conversational thing, right? When you're creating an agent, you're creating a autonomous engine to perform a specific role. There are possibilities that this agent is being used in not in the way that you have designed it to be. So there are APIs or the calls which are being consumed because every single call that you are making to the backend model like ChatGPT or Llama or any other model that you have chosen, this is costing you something. So that can also happen, right? So that is on the usage of uh, these agents. Right? So this is prompt injection, as they call it, right? They can hijack. You can hijack your agents in the middle of the process. You can feed your malicious context to the to the agent. But what can also happen is that if your agent is fully capable of if it is an advanced multi-agent system, they can probably exhibit unpredictable behavior due to complex interactions, or they can take actions that developers never explicitly programmed, right? So an agent can learn to bypass controls if they are not tightly governed. On top of it, uh, there can be a case where your agent can be designed or manipulated to exploit vulnerability. They can be designed to phish users using dynamically generated messages. There can be a possibility wherein someone is designing their AI agents to using the chain tools or LLMs to execute complex multi-stage attacks. So this is a two-way problem wherein an agent which has been designed to perform a specific role or to perform a specific goal, the user is uh, doing the prompt injections or feeding malicious context to the agent, and hence the agent is not able, or hence the agent is learning something which it should not do. And on the other side, because of the tech stack that is available, it is very easy for an attacker to design, weaponized AI agents. It is a problem that can happen from both the sides.
Wow. I mean, that's the whole ethics part of it and controlling this, right? That
Absolutely correct.
which brings me to my next question about strategy, right? Like, how do you see agentic cybersecurity evolving over the next 5 to 10 years?
Next 5 to 10 years, right? It's a big time.
5 years, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think there is a lot that can happen. The next 5 to 10 years are going to be very transformational for cybersecurity, and agentic cybersecurity will be at the center of that shift, right? Because you're going from automation, like from the general soul to complete autonomy. That is earlier, like for us also, right? We were earlier a SOAR, now we are an AI SOC, a full autonomous AI SOC. This is about Secura, and there are apart from that, there are so many things, right? There are things like there are AI augmented SOCs which are emerging, which is like using the cognitive security operation centers which are there, and you can these using these SOCs can perform the alert triage, hunting, reporting. Assistants the AI assistant can briefly can brief the CISOs, explain decision, and they can probably help shape policy, right? Then there is cross-domain agent collaboration, right? Because there are agents available at multiple domains. So, for example, your cloud endpoints, security, sorry, in clouds, endpoint, identity, data, then the AI model here. So, with the emergence of MCP, like they are intelligent communication protocol, it will allow them to work like a small swarm defense system, right? So the my AI endpoint agent may alert my AI identity agent, which may trigger actions in my cloud agent, right? So endpoint agent, identity agent, cloud agent, and all three agents are working autonomously. So the organizations need to define probably what agents can do, so how much of the autonomy is acceptable, and then the main point that I think is very important and crucial is that who is accountable if an agent makes a mistake? Not just in cybersecurity, but in general also, right? So I have again read it recently that there was a case with the where some one user was trying to book a ticket, and then it was there was some AI agent deployed, and the user tried to book a ticket using that AI agent, went haywire, and the that that airline had to pay a huge set of money because of that miscommunication that happened between the user and the AI agent. Similarly, there are a lot of cases that you see in not just in cybersecurity, but you see it in laws, right? So I've read it again somewhere recently that there were some laws which were not written, and then AI agent told something else. There were some hallucinations, and again the entire case went haywire, and again the people or the lawyers who were using those AI agents had to pay a huge amount of money. So in cybersecurity, because the case is entirely different, there are a lot of things which are at stake. Who is accountable? Someone who is just implementing the agent, or someone who is using the agent is So there is supposed to be agent policy. I think moving forward there will be agent policies. There will be standards. There will be risk scoring as well to to perform the models to emerge, right? So things like auditing, things like licenses, things like transparency will be a key in the future.
Yeah, you can see how things start to become more and more complicated with the MCP
Yeah.
protocol, agents speaking to agents, and then between agents and humans, and things getting confused. Ah, wow. I think that's a separate episode by itself. So, Pratibha, if I'm someone who wants to get into cybersecurity space, if I want to
Yeah.
start the career, or if I want to switch my career, what kind of advice do you have for a person like that?
Okay. So I yeah, so I would say that the better idea is to have a clear purpose. So do not adopt any agentic system because it sounds cool. So if you really have to either build something or use something, you should first know uh, whether that you are actually implementing a system that is required. Second, as someone who is trying to switch his careers into cybersecurity or into AI, I would suggest this person to invest in both AI plus security talent. Not just AI, not just cybersecurity, but a combination of both. So as a cybersecurity industry in whole, we need to build hybrid professionals who understand cybersecurity principles, who understand AI ML behavior and its limitations, people who understand prompt engineering and agent orchestration, and people who understand the tools and API integration, right? So I mean, it would be a good idea to build a team of cyber AI, translators who can actually bridge security with emerging AI tech. And then obviously there are things like build governance, parallel with innovation, and all those things, right? So because agentic cybersecurity is not, I don't think it is just about smarter machines, right? It is about smarter defense as well, right? So as a leader who can embrace this shift early and he can build trusted AI powered systems and continuously adopt uh, this is something that will lead the next generation of cyber.
That's really good advice, Pratibha.
Yeah.
And I also took down some notes. Definitely going to do some additional research after this. Thank you.
Cool. Maybe we can wrap up there. It's been a really fun conversation. Thank you, Pratibha. I mean, you've enlightened us definitely in this whole space. So interesting, right? And scary, but I'm fascinated about it. So just to summarize, right? So we talked about what makes agentic cybersecurity different from the traditional cybersecurity approaches. We learned about its core technologies, right? We talked about a real world example of how these different agents talk to each other and were able to identify a suspicious PowerShell activity and resolve it. We went into detail about the risks of maybe these agents going rogue, right? And we talked potentially of what how this could evolve in the next 5 years, perhaps, and what it takes for someone to get into this space. So really fun conversation. Really appreciate your time again. Um, yeah, maybe
One more thing, if you really like content like this, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button.
cool. Thanks, everyone. See you next time.
Thank you, everyone. Thank
See you.
you.
Thank you. Bye.